George Foreman, a heavyweight powerhouse who struck fear into the hearts of opponents. But Foreman's story goes far beyond the roar of the crowd and the sting of leather gloves. His is a tale of transformation, resilience, and unexpected triumphs. From humble beginnings to becoming a world champion, Foreman's life is a testament to the power of hard work and unwavering faith. He's a man who's constantly reinvented himself. From the boxing ring to the business world, Foreman's story is an inspiration to anyone who's ever dared to dream big. Born in the tough streets of Texas, Foreman's early life was far from glamorous. He channeled his energy into boxing, finding solace and purpose in the ring. His raw talent and determination quickly propelled him through the amateur ranks, setting the stage for a professional career that would captivate the world. Foreman's journey from the boxing ring to becoming a successful entrepreneur and beloved cultural icon is an inspiration. It reminds us that it's never too late to rewrite our own narratives and achieve greatness on our own terms. George Foreman's story begins in Marshall, Texas. Poverty was real, opportunity was scarce, and trouble was easy to find. The streets were tough, and for a young Foreman, they were his classroom. Survival meant learning to fight, and not just in the boxing sense. He dropped out of school early on, another statistic in a neighborhood where dreams often faded with the setting sun. By 16, Foreman was already on a path headed for trouble. But even in those dark times, a spark flickered within him. Little did he know, that spark would soon ignite a fire that would burn its way into boxing history. A turning point came when Foreman stumbled upon a Job Corps program. It wasn't just about learning a trade, it was about discipline, structure, and a chance to rewrite his story. It was there, amidst the hard work and newfound purpose, that he discovered boxing. The boxing ring became his sanctuary. Foreman had a natural talent for the sport, a raw power that was evident from his first punch. He wasn't just fighting opponents, he was fighting his past, his demons, and the limitations that society had placed upon him. Foreman's ascent through the amateur boxing ranks was nothing short of meteoric. He dominated the competition, his powerful punches becoming his trademark. In 1968, he won the National Golden Gloves, a prestigious amateur boxing tournament. But it was on the world stage that Foreman truly made his mark. At the 1968 Olympic Games in Mexico City, he faced off against the Soviet Union's Jonas Cepelis in the heavyweight finals. In a display of boxing brilliance, Foreman dominated the fight, knocking out Cepelis in the second round. George Foreman, the troubled kid from the streets of Texas, was an Olympic gold medalist. The world watched in awe as he raised his gloves in victory, a symbol of triumph over adversity. After his Olympic triumph, the professional world beckoned. Foreman wasted no time making his presence felt. His first few fights were over before the crowd could settle in. Opponents crumbled under his raw power. The boxing world took notice. He earned the nickname Big George, a fitting moniker for a man who seemed to move mountains with his punches. His fighting style was straightforward, brutal, and effective. Foreman's rise was meteoric. Each victory added fuel to the fire, propelling him closer to a shot at the heavyweight title. The year was 1974. The fight was billed as the Rumble in the Jungle, a showdown of epic proportions. In one corner stood George Foreman, the undefeated, the seemingly invincible heavyweight champion. In the other corner, the legendary Muhammad Ali, back from exile and hungry to reclaim his throne. The fight took place in Kinshasa, Zaire. Foreman, true to form, came out swinging, unleashing his trademark power punches. Ali, however, had a different plan. He employed his legendary rope-a-dope strategy, leaning back on the ropes, absorbing Foreman's blows, waiting for the right moment to strike. As the fight progressed, Foreman began to tire, his powerful punches losing their sting. Ali, sensing his moment, unleashed a flurry of punches, knocking Foreman down in the 8th round. The loss to Ali was a bitter pill to swallow. Foreman was devastated, his aura of invincibility shattered. He took some time off, reassessing his life, his career, his purpose. The fire within him, however, had not been extinguished. He was determined to prove that he was more than just a one-hit wonder. He returned to the ring with renewed purpose, racking up a string of victories against tough opponents. Foreman fought with a controlled aggression, a newfound maturity replacing his youthful exuberance. He knew he had what it took to be a champion again. In the annals of boxing history, George Foreman's story is one of the most remarkable comeback tales ever told. After a decade away from the sport, he returned to the ring in 1987, a 38-year-old man on a mission to reclaim his past glory. Foreman's return was met with skepticism. Many believed he was too old, too slow, a shadow of his former self. But Foreman had other plans. He fought with a renewed sense of purpose, his trademark power still evident. In 1994, at the age of 45, George Foreman achieved the unthinkable. He faced off against Michael Moorer, the reigning heavyweight champion, a man 19 years his junior. Then, in the 10th round, it happened. George Foreman was once again the heavyweight champion of the world, the oldest man to ever achieve this feat. The year is 1977. Picture this. George Foreman, heavyweight champion of the world, is in his dressing room. He's just won a brutal fight, a knockout. Victory should feel good, but it doesn't. Something's different. There's a hollowness where the thrill of the fight used to be. He looks at his reflection in his locker, sees the scars, the sweat, the toll the sport has taken. But he also sees something deeper, a questioning in his own eyes. He's achieved what he'd always dreamed of, so why does he feel so empty? Foreman's retirement announcement shocked the boxing world. He was at the top of his game, seemingly unbeatable. But Foreman was a man transformed. He'd had a profound spiritual awakening, a calling far greater than any championship belt. He walked away from fame and fortune to dedicate his life to God and his community. He became an ordained minister, establishing a youth center in Houston, Texas. This wasn't just a hobby, a celebrity vanity project. He poured his heart and soul into mentoring troubled youth, offering guidance, support, and a path away from the streets he knew all too well. The boxing ring had been his battleground, but now his mission was peace, love, and compassion. Life outside the ring wasn't always easy. Foreman, despite his fame and past success, faced financial struggles. The money he'd earned during his boxing career dwindled away, eaten up by bad investments and the costs of running his youth center. He was forced to sell his ranch, his cars, his prized possessions. The loss of his fortune, however, paled in comparison to the loss of his identity. Foreman, the fighter, the champion, was gone. In his place stood a man stripped bare, grappling with his new reality. He battled doubt, uncertainty, and the nagging feeling that his best days were behind him. 10 years had passed since George Foreman last stepped into a boxing ring as a competitor. The financial burdens of running his youth center had become insurmountable. Bills piled up, threatening to shut down the very place that had become his sanctuary, his life's work. Foreman knew he had to do something drastic, something that went against every fiber of his being. He had to return to the very place he'd vowed never to set foot in again, the boxing ring. The decision was met with mixed emotions. Some saw it as a desperate grab for money, a sad end to a legendary career. Others saw a glimmer of hope, a chance for Foreman to reclaim his past glory and secure the financial future of his beloved youth center. This was about fighting for something bigger than himself. The George Foreman who returned to the ring in 1987 was a far cry from the ferocious knockout artist of the 1970s. At 38, his once imposing physique had softened, but his spirit, his determination, burned brighter than ever. He knew he couldn't rely solely on brute force anymore. He needed to work smarter, not harder. Foreman adopted a more measured approach, relying on his jab, his ring generalship, and his underestimated boxing IQ. He'd learned from his past, from his victories and his defeats. He carried himself with a newfound wisdom, a sense of peace that only comes from overcoming adversity and finding purpose beyond the allure of fame and fortune. Foreman's return to boxing was initially dismissed by many as a publicity stunt, a desperate attempt to recapture past glory. He was, after all, a 40-year-old man in a young man's game. Boxing experts scoffed, predicting a swift and brutal end to his comeback story. But Foreman, fueled by a higher purpose and an unwavering self-belief, silenced his critics with each win. He fought a who's who of up-and-coming contenders, men who had grown up idolizing him, only to find themselves on the receiving end of his still powerful punches. With each victory, the boxing world took notice. This wasn't a washed-up has-been. This was George Foreman 2.0, a more mature, more strategic fighter, driven by a cause far greater than himself. He was defying Father Time, proving that age was just a number, and that with enough heart, anything was possible. George Foreman's life had always been about more than just boxing. Even during his fighting days, he'd shown a sharp mind for business. He understood the power of his name, of his image, and he wasn't afraid to use it. Endorsements came calling, and Foreman, ever the savvy businessman, listened. But this wasn't just about taking the money and running. Foreman was selective, aligning himself with products he believed in, products that resonated with his values. Foreman was proving that the same determination and work ethic that had made him a champion in the ring could also lead to success in the cutthroat world of commerce. In the annals of unexpected business triumphs, the George Foreman Grill holds a special place. What started as a simple endorsement deal for a fat-reducing grilling appliance morphed into a cultural phenomenon, turning Foreman into a household name beyond his boxing fame. The story goes that Foreman, never one to shy away from a good meal, was initially skeptical of the grill's ability to produce tasty, healthy food, but once he tried it, he was hooked. He saw its potential, not just as a kitchen gadget, but as a tool for promoting healthy living, a message that resonated deeply with his own personal journey. The George Foreman Grill debuted in 1994, the same year Foreman reclaimed the heavyweight title. It was an instant hit. People were drawn to its simplicity, its ease of use, and of course, the endorsement of a beloved boxing legend. The grill became a staple in kitchens across America, its popularity fueled by Foreman's ubiquitous infomercials, his infectious enthusiasm for the product winning over even the most skeptical consumers. Despite his entrepreneurial success, George Foreman never forgot where he came from. The streets of Houston, the struggles of his youth, the lessons learned in the ring and beyond, shaped his worldview, instilling in him a deep sense of compassion and a desire to give back. His youth center remained his pride and joy, a testament to his commitment to providing opportunities for underprivileged children. He poured his time, energy, and a significant portion of his earnings into expanding its programs, creating a safe haven for kids to learn, grow, and reach their full potential. Foreman's philanthropy extended beyond the walls of his youth center. He became a vocal advocate for education, health, and social justice, using his platform to raise awareness and inspire change. He donated generously to various charities, lending his name and his time to causes close to his heart. George Foreman, the boxer, had become George Foreman, the philanthropist, a man who understood that true wealth wasn't measured in dollars and cents, but in the impact one has on the lives of others. George Foreman's story is one for the ages. From the rough streets of Houston to boxing glory, from spiritual awakening to entrepreneurial success, Foreman's journey is a testament to the indomitable spirit. A two-time heavyweight champion, businessman, minister, philanthropist, and a role model to millions. He's proven it's never too late to reinvent oneself. George Foreman's impact transcends generations. He's a hero, not just for his knockout punches and championship belts, but for the way he's lived his life, for the values he embodies, and for the inspiration he provides to people from all walks of life. He teaches us that it's okay to fall down, that failure is not final, and that with enough grit and determination, we can rise again, stronger and wiser than before. He reminds us that success isn't just about wealth or accolades, but about finding our purpose, about using our talents to make a positive impact on the world around us. He's proof positive that it's never too late to learn, to grow, to chase our dreams, no matter how audacious they may seem. George Foreman's story is one that will be told and retold for years to come. He's a legend, an icon, a true American original, but more importantly, he's a beacon of hope, a reminder that within each of us lies the potential for greatness, the courage to overcome challenges, and the compassion to make the world a better place. His is a life well lived, a legacy that will continue to inspire generations to come.